Hey, Ludette, how's that burrito?
It tastes so good. Thanks, babe. Babe, I'm home. One of our residents got sick today. We had to take him to the hospital. I really don't feel good. I'm scared, babe. Where are you?
I'm right here holding the camera. Where do you think I am? I'm just right here. But in all seriousness, Lulu, that's it, man. You're in quarantine. You are now on that side of the house, and I am now on this side of the house for the next week, for sure.
It's allergies, John. I'm not sure, but I...
The only way to be safe, Lulu, is if we take things to an extreme measure. You're gonna stay on this side, and I'm gonna stay on this side. So everything down the middle.
Hell, how are we gonna open the...
All right? Hey, you're already on my side. You're already on my side.
This is exaggeration. Do you know that?
You think the virus is laughing? No. Boom. Just like, and the whole idea is that until we know for sure what you got, if you want to cross to my side, you got to put on some detox gear. You got to scrub your body with sanitizer.
Whoa, I'm cleaner than you.
It's because I've been unclean my whole life that I built a natural immunity to viruses, cancers, glaucoma, constipation.
This is sad. What about Yoshi? Can Yoshi cross on both sides?
So I think what I've heard is that dogs do get sick too. Like they can get infected. From now on, you're gonna have to start wearing a mask. All right? Okay, Yoshi, you're gonna have to wear this mask from now on. You're gonna be able to cross from one side to the other. You wanna get corona? Huh? You want corona?
Baba, poor thing.
I mean, if we ever split up, this is what life will be like for you anyway. So you're gonna have to spend half the time with me and half the time with Lulu. I'm just preparing you because we fight all the time. One of us is cray cray.
Maybe two?
Okay, maybe two of us is cray cray. So, oh man, what does that mean? Where am I gonna sleep? So, I know I'm kind of joking here, but at the same time, it's really not a joke. Until I am certain she doesn't have any corona, I will be sleeping here in my office. And what I've done is just made a makeshift bed here in the middle of my closet, the messiest closet possible, because that's where all the magic happens. This is my life right now, y'all. This is where we're gonna sleep, buddy, for now. That's the way it is, bud.
You can split the bed. I can't touch you for 14 days. It's the end of the world as we know it, and we'll be fine.
All right, so we've been in this quarantine now for over 2 weeks. And the good news is that the patient that was taken to the hospital
Was negative.
that's right, was not sick with the corona. So we decided to, honestly, still keep our distance at this point.
A little bit.
Yeah, still keeping it. You know what? I think the problem right now is I don't know if it should be a little bit or if it should be persistent. Like we should be strict about it. Because you are constantly creeping over to my side. You're constantly breaking all sorts of the rules with social distancing. And the problem here, Lulu, is that you are still going to work every day out there. Like millions of people who work in the service industry, you are still constantly exposed to a lot of people every single day. So even if I'm not leaving the house, even if I'm being vigilant about self-isolation, the reality is you are going to cause problems.
So exposed. That is so true because every day there's always, someone's not coming to work. Why? Because, they're having a fever. And so they need to do the test and they need to wait till they get the test back before they come back to work. So I have to agree. It is definitely still an issue for both of us. So we should continue social distancing and this.
You know, we try to joke about it because, you know, it's a pretty serious situation. We're trying to make sure that people don't get overwhelmed too much by this whole thing. But I think we still need to be actually extra cautious. My cousin Patty and Steve, right? I mean, Steve is a heart surgeon and works out of New York City, basically the epicenter in the United States of where this whole outbreak is happening.
Right.
And he's recently moved down into the basement to live for the foreseeable future because he's volunteered to go work in the emergency room, which is, if you talk about an epicenter, the epicenter of the epicenter is that emergency room. And right now, the percentage of doctors, nurses, and people who work in health, it's really high who end up getting it. Anyone who works in the health industry, anyone who works with a lot of patients like you has a much higher chance of getting exposed. So far, no one in the places that you work have gotten sick, right?
Yes.
Okay, so no one has gotten sick yet.
Zero.
And Vegas so far, I mean, right now they actually did have a case of corona that has already broken out in the Costco that's literally right across the street from where we live.
Oh my God.
So that Costco at this point, I don't know if it's actually open or not, but you know, once an employee gets it, that's it. It's like, you know, what do you do? And it's that close. So we are literally a hop, skip away from people who are getting it. I don't know how long we can continue to dodge this. You know, I think that's one of the most interesting questions of until there's a cure, you can't dodge it forever. It's highly viral and it will spread. But the whole idea here right now is just to try to prevent our healthcare system from being overwhelmed. So that's why we're doing this whole social distancing thing. Maybe it's inevitable that everyone does get it at some point so that you can develop an immunity to it.
I'm careful. When I get home, I always, remove my clothes.
You just told me that you don't shower every day when you get home. What are you? You are lying.
No.
You are lying.
That was before the corona, John.
Before you do anything, the minute you get home, okay, is go to your room, take off your clothes, dance naked in front of the webcam, make a couple of dollars, and then after that, wash the clothes, take a shower, and then the risks are mitigated, right? I wouldn't say it's 100%, but at least it's a lot safer. One of the things we did during this quarantine here is make sure we scrubbed everything down. So Lulu spent the whole day getting some of that Purell, getting some of that sanitizer, some bleach, and just wiping everything down we had in our car as well, because she drives the car and I also drive the car. So these sort of transitions, like every time I get in the car now, I just put on some of that Purell.
Can I just give you a fact? John doesn't like using hand sanitizer, by the way.
I don't. It feels goopy. It's kind of gross. But
now,
hey.
Oh my God. I
Johnny
never heard him complain.
Johnny not complaining. Johnny's... Hell yeah, you kidding me?
I was so emotional, I'm telling you, because I couldn't get hold of any disinfectant. And I started crying. For something like that, I was amazed that I would get into that emotion because I was so scared.
I mean, even right now, I don't know how we're going to be able to film this kind of vlog ongoing because, well, I mean, we're definitely not 6 feet away at this point.
Exactly.
So I hope you all are taking care. For those of you who are working in the service industry, share stories with us. Let us know how you're dealing with something like this. And if you have any tips in terms of how to be able to cope with something like this, because it is pretty tough when you want to hug your boo-boo.
This is what we do. Elbow, elbow.
Elbow to elbow. For those of you who are sleeping in the basement or someone like me who's actually sleeping in the closet still,
hang in there.
There's a lot worse that could happen, right? So I'm not going to complain. That floor is hard.
I thought you said you like that kind of...
I like that kind of foam, but not every day of my life.
Oh.